What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to Blades with Bill. I'm Bill. Today we're just going to be taking and reviewing the Cold Steel AD-15 Lite. We're going to go up close, go over some of the specs, do a size comparison, and then we'll come back up here and I'll give you my thoughts. We have textured grivery handles. The actual lock bar here, I'm assuming it's aluminum. I know it's not magnetic. And it's definitely a metal, so I'm assuming it's aluminum because I can't imagine that would be titanium. There is a lanyard hole. The pocket clip is not deep carry, but it does make it easy to get out of your pocket because it gives you that much to grab a hold of. And the stop pin is actually built in or as part of the blade, but it's not really for stopping the knife this way. It's more so that it stops here because there's just a little bit of a lip that it stops on. This is the light, so it is AUS 10A, and the thumb studs are in the way of sharpening, but it just takes a screwdriver to unscrew this side. This side isn't held in, but the tolerances are so tight that it's actually kind of wedged in there. I used a pair of pliers, a small pair of needle nose pliers, and just kind of wiggled it and it came right out. I have not sharpened this blade at all yet. Put it to a strop, but I haven't done anything else since I did the cut test, or at all, period. The knife, even with this lanyard and titanium bead, weighs 6.58 ounces. The thickest part of the handles is almost 6/10 of an inch. The actual lock bar piece is only about 1/2 of an inch. And the thickest part of the blade is almost 2/10 of an inch. But behind the edge is 17 thousandths. So even though it's got a rather thick spine that does come all the way out to the tip, which is kind of nice because it's not a brittle tip then, the way they ground this, it is still a very slicey blade. For blade length, we're looking at just over 3.5 inches to the handles. About 3 3/4 to the pivot. Handle length is about 4 3/4 inches. So overall, we're looking at about 8 3/4 inches long. So it is not a small knife. Do a size comparison real quick. The CJRB Pyrite and the Hogue Deca, which obviously the 8010 or 8015 dwarfs both. The Benchmade Osborne 940-2 and the Benchmade Bug Out. And again, the Osborne's almost as long. The blade might actually be... no, the blades are about the same length. But you definitely get more handle out of the Cold Steel. Spyderco Para 3, and the Spyderco PM2. So as you can see, the PM2 is pretty close, both blade and handle, but you definitely get a little more cutting edge out of the Cold Steel. Let's go back up top and I'll give you my thoughts on it. Alright, so I thought this swing was great. I really did. Doing the cut test, I didn't really find any hot spots. The heat treat on this is incredible. When I was batoning this through wood, just to kind of check see if the lock would fail from doing it, which it didn't, I didn't go all the way through the piece of wood. I actually took and bent or pulled apart the piece of wood, and the blade actually kind of twisted. It just turned. It didn't do anything, like, wasn't like I was holding it and twisted or anything. But it didn't damage the edge at all. Like, even that, like pulling apart the wood to get the knife back out of it and then having it kind of twist apart and then falling on concrete, didn't damage the blade at all. I have literally done nothing to this except strop it since then, and it still cuts just fine. Now, yeah, I'm going to have to do something. I will have to sharpen it sooner or later, but Cold Steel, very, very, very good job on the heat treat on this. I'm very impressed with that. I'm impressed with the cutting geometry. For as big as this knife is, or it feels in hand, it slices very, very well. The swedge up here helps with that, but the fact that they actually ground this the way they did and got this as thin as they did behind the edge is great. Now, there is no sharpening choil, so yeah, it's going to create a smile. It's going to look a little funny over here, and I would say that anybody who uses or does freehand sharpening, be careful to not hit your stones on that because it'll tear them up. So that is a downside to the knife, but it's very smooth, very fidgety. Once you figure out the lock, which it's a little different, but it's really not that bad. It didn't take me much to figure out, but this is a great knife. It really is. I have enjoyed the crap out of this knife. The only other complaint that I have is that I wish they would have, for the thumb stud, it's just a flathead screw, but it would have been nice if they would have made that cut into the thumb stud just a little bit deeper to keep your screwdriver from popping out, and kind of, if I was to put this side of it on this side for the thumb stud for where I actually use it, that would be rather sharp and be annoying. So it'd be nice if it was just a little bit deeper so the screwdriver wouldn't want to pop out of there. It's not something that's a huge deal, because how often do you have to take out thumb stud to sharpen the knife? But yeah, I totally recommend this knife. If you haven't picked up the Cold Steel AD-15 or AD-15 Lite, definitely recommend it. If you enjoyed the video, do me a huge favor. Give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment. Heck, if you didn't like the video, give me a thumbs down. But again, tell me what you didn't like. I can't change it if you don't tell me what you didn't like. Any kind of interaction shows YouTube there's interest in the video, which helps push the video up in the YouTube algorithm, which helps it get more views, which should help me get more subscribers. So I greatly appreciate any kind of interaction. And if you're not a subscriber and you like the video, subscribe. I try and put out stuff as often as I can. I have had to slow down for financial reasons, because I am buying every knife that you've seen except for a couple I have bought. Well, other than 2 knives, I bought all of them myself. Most of them I've owned for some time, but I've also been buying knives here and there to review for the channel. Plus, I'm a father of 3 little girls. I'm a stay-at-home father of 3 little girls. 2 of them are home all day. So I don't have time to necessarily dedicate to doing knife reviews because I can't have a knife around small children. That wouldn't be safe. I'll leave my socials along with my affiliate links if you want to help the channel financially. Again, I greatly appreciate it. If not, totally understand that too. Everyone have a great day. Stay safe. Peace.